Hey there, this is Miss Heather from the counseling office here with a follow-up and an inspiration to get you going on writing a draft of your common application essay over the winter break. This is a combination of work covered in the application essay workshop, May 3rd and 4th, as well as a flex time seminar on the 16th of May. So here we go. We are going to review these common application essay prompts that have been published for the next application cycle. You can also find these online at commonapp.org. But I'm giving you a little bit of analysis here to help you focus in on which prompt might be right for you. Here we go with prompt number 1. Some students have a background, identity, interest, or talent that is so meaningful they believe their application would be incomplete without it. If this sounds like you, then please share your story. This is the old faithful of essay prompt. It's been around for years, and it offers a great deal of flexibility for the applicants with a little bit of direction to get your creative juices flowing. Here are the key words that you should focus on: background, identity, interest, and talent as launching points if you want to brainstorm this prompt. What is it about your history, your personality, your hobbies, or accomplishments that are really essential to highlight for an admissions officer? This story needs to be incredibly meaningful to you, super integral to who you are, and it really needs to move the reader. It needs to focus on the next most important word. This story needs to complete your application. It's a pretty high stakes for this prompt, and if your response doesn't meet that expectation, the reader might be left wondering why this essay was so essential to you. So if you don't have this kind of story that is the final piece of your puzzle, you might want to choose a different prompt. But here are some questions to ask yourself if you'd like to brainstorm responses to this prompt. What is it about my history or background that sets me apart from my peers? How do I define myself? Can you describe, identify, articulate who you are? And how do the people around you define you? What have I achieved that has been integral into molding my character and my ambitions? And what in my 17 years so far has helped me shape me into the person that I am today? If any of those questions interest you, this prompt might be the right one for you. Number 2, the lessons we take from obstacles. The lessons we take from obstacles we encounter can be fundamental to later success. Recount the time when you faced a challenge, setback, or failure. How did it affect you, and what did you learn from the experience? This prompt has been a bit retooled in that it used to focus solely on one word: failure. That was kind of intimidating and a kind of a loaded word to write on. Obstacles in this version really softens it up a bit, and it allows you to be more flexible and making this prompt a bit more accessible. But nevertheless, here's the pitfall. You typically don't want your first impression and kind of last introduction to someone to be about failure. Ultimately, this essay does need to have a turn and a pivot so that it can end on an aspirational or an optimistic note. To write this prompt effectively, you really need to have faced real stakes. What was it cost? What did it cost you to fail? And then what was the substantive growth on the other side? It can't be anything trivial like, I didn't do well on an exam, or doing poorly in a hard class cost you a good grade. That's not the kind of material that they're looking for in this prompt. Some key questions to consider for this prompt. How do you deal with hardship? What qualifies to you as a challenge or setback in your life or in the world? Are you the kind of person who can rebound from a challenge and turn every experience, good or bad, into one from which you can actually learn something? What experiences illustrate this quality? And finally, what have been some of your major challenges that you've encountered in your life, and what were the silver linings? Some of those questions, if you can answer them, might mean this prompt is a good one for you to try. Number 3, reflect on a time when you questioned or challenged a belief or idea. What prompted your thinking, and what was the outcome? This is a precarious prompt, and students need to really carefully kind of assess the risks of what sharing your beliefs might be. This can be a prompt that might be polarizing for the readers. Remember, you have a human being on the other side who you don't know anything about. So without question, you need to be very savvy about how you can articulate your thoughts and feelings while showcasing your willingness to be thoughtful of considering others' ideas and standing out as a valuable addition to diversity on campus. So also something to avoid with this prompt is impersonal philosophical rants. While it might be provoking, etc., this is about a personal statement and the focus does need to be on you. So some questions to consider for this prompt. When has your opinion been unpopular? Why are you the kind of person who's willing to stand up for what you believe in? What is important to you on a fundamental level, morally? And how passionate are you about the things you believe in? And how can you prove that? If you can answer some of those questions, prompt number 3 might be for you. Prompt number 4. Describe a problem you've solved or a problem you'd like to solve. It can be an intellectual challenge, a research query, an ethical dilemma, anything that is of personal importance no matter the scale. Explain its significance to you and what steps you took or could be taken to identify a solution. This is an incredible prompt that was added a few years ago, and it's my personal favorite. It's similar to prompt number 2 in that it's meant to kind of tease out your ability to problem solve and to share a glimpse into your frame of mind when you face a challenge. It also provides a few bonus opportunities to express yourself creatively, leaving the scale and the time frame kind of up for grabs and letting you set yourself up to show us how you can problem solve. Think about what challenges the future might bring, both personally, professionally, globally, locally, and how might you be a part of those meaningful steps to progress and problem solving in your future. So here are some questions you might want to consider if you like this prompt. When have you been proactive in attempting to affect change? And what inspires you to take action? What kind of mark would you like to leave on the world? How do you think you can positively contribute to a cause that is important to you? And if you had the power to make a lasting impact in any area at all, what would that be? It's an amazing opportunity for many people in this prompt, so take a stab at that if some of those questions appeal to you. Prompt number 5. Discuss an accomplishment, event, or realization that sparked a period of personal growth and a new understanding of yourself and others. This prompt has been heavily revised from one offered in 2016, which focused much more, well, actually focused exclusively on this transition from childhood to adulthood, which assumed you were still somewhat a child and still somewhat an adult, and almost nobody answered this prompt. So it's been really expanded to talk much more about personal growth generally, leaving the lessons, leaving the timing of this transformation really open-ended. You're now also free to kind of reflect on a realization you had, in addition to its connection to an event or a concrete occurrence. You do need to reflect on what you've learned and how you've grown and how these are a source of insight that you want admissions officers to know. And it really needs to highlight some kind of intangible qualities that don't show up anywhere else on your application. This cannot be a regurgitation of your activities list or awards list. So here are some questions to consider if you're interested in this prompt. How do you react to periods of transition, and what inspires a change in your perspective? When have you had a eureka moment, and how has it impacted the way you live? What were the moments in life that fundamentally changed you as a person? And when did you learn something that made you feel more adult, more capable, more grown up? If any of those appeal to you, this might be a prompt for you. Last one, number 6. Describe a topic, idea, or concept you find so engaging that it makes you lose all track of time. Why does that captivate you? What or who do you turn to when you want to learn more? This prompt, no doubt, is meant to highlight a student's inner nerd. There is an emphasis on supplemental essays for most universities on intellectual engagement, on intellectual curiosity. on intellectual vitality. And now the Common App has really picked up on that. And over the past many years, I've heard admissions officers who really say they place a high value on essays that capture this intellectual vitality. So for students who truly have a unique intellectual interest, who have an obvious drive to explore, especially beyond the boundaries of the classroom, the limits of the curriculum, the syllabus, this is a prompt for you. And a really cool opportunity to highlight individual pursuits of knowledge, not because someone else is making you. This is a window into your brain, how you process information, how you seek out new sources of content. How resourceful are you when your curiosity is piqued to the fullest? Here's some questions to consider. What floats your boat? Do you have an appetite for knowledge about something specific? What do you love, and why do you love that? I asked that question on one of your junior questionnaires, so it was a sneaky way to preview this essay prompt. What lengths have you gone to in order to acquire new information or experience related to a topic that you're curious about? How do you typically seek to enrich your knowledge when something appeals to you? Do you have a favorite corner of the library or a corner of the internet or a mentor who's always there to help you answer your burning questions? And what about the process of learning, especially about the subjects that call out to you, is satisfying? So this has a specific application, and that might speak to you. I didn't put on here as topic number 7, but I'll just let you know that an oldie but goodie has been revived, and that is called simply topic of your choice. That existed for a really long time, and then actually the Common Application took it out of circulation, much to the chagrin of counselors and students, and it has been revived. But I would urge you to consider these 6 more complex prompts before defaulting to just topic of your choice. I'll leave it at that. And so in addition to this webinar, I've also provided a follow-up document for the essay workshop that was held in May, which reviewed the rough outline of how we allowed each student from that entire day to generate a huge amount of raw material to brainstorm possible things to talk about. So there's information about those exercises that we did, links to all the resources that we used, so good luck. These next 5 weeks are a huge opportunity when your brain is not otherwise occupied with the nitty-gritty, the demands of daily class, and is going to be more open to reflecting on who you are. I challenge each of you to prepare a draft of your Common Application and bring it to the first day of school, and we're off and running. So good luck. I'm excited to read more about your interesting lives. Have fun.